Hi friends, Sarah here with The Holy Mess, and today I'm excited to share with you a completely honest review of the GoBe 2 fitness and eating tracker. So this is what it looks like on my arm. You can see it's relatively good sized, and we'll be talking about the pros and cons. And I want to tell you all about what this device does, what it could potentially do for you, and maybe what it would not do for you. Now, to give you a perspective of where I'm coming from, I've lost 100 pounds. I've been maintaining that weight loss for the last 10 years. I run an online weight loss program called Faithful Finish Lines, and I did get a free tracker from Healbe, which is the name of the company, to try it out and share my review with you. But I'm not being paid for this or sponsored, and so it's totally my honest opinion. So when the device comes, it comes in a box that looks like this. And then they walk you through all the different things that the device does. Now, if you think about, like, if you have a Fitbit or some other fitness tracker, this is different. It is definitely different. And what the company says is that it uses a special technology called flow technology, and I'll tell you about that in a second, to not just track how many calories you're burning, but how many calories you're eating. That is huge. I mean, there is no other tracker that even attempts to track how many calories you're eating and how your body is digesting and absorbing and using those calories. So that really does set this device apart from any other device that's on the market right now. And I'll be posting some pictures in the comments below so you can see exactly what that looks like. So you wear the device, you get some information on it. When you push the button, you can see, but a lot of it's going to come on an app on your smartphone, so you can sync it with your smartphone. And again, I'll show you some pictures of that. So this is what this device tracks. It tracks calories. That's obviously the biggest one and the most unique. Hydration, your water levels, your heart rate, your sleep, your stress, and then obviously your weight. You're going to put in your weight just from weighing yourself on a scale, and then over time it's going to track. So the company uses what they call flow technology, and this is what they say about how that works. After you eat, your body converts food to glucose, and then insulin triggers cells to absorb glucose and release water. So what the tracker is doing is they're saying that release of water, from that they are able to track how many calories you're actually absorbing and using after you eat food. So I would say this is the biggest benefit to this tracker that you're not going to get anywhere else, and also the biggest challenge. I'm going to talk about pros and cons with the device. So it's definitely really interesting. You can see a little graph that shows you, after you ate something, oh, I ate 200 calories, then 300 calories, then 400 calories, or whatever throughout the day, and they're keeping track of all that. And then just like any other Fitbit or Apple Watch or something like that, they're also keeping track of your steps, and then how many calories they believe that you have burned throughout the day. And then you can see what the balance is. Obviously, if you want to lose weight, you want the balance to be you burn more. If you want to stay the same, or if you want to gain weight, then you would want to eat more than what it says. Almost all of us who are using this want to lose weight, so that's our goal. So you want to keep your calories under what it says that you burn. So I'm going to start with the pros. The calorie counting is super interesting. So it's definitely tracking something when you're eating. I can't say there was ever a time that I was using it and I ate something and it just never tracked it at all. Now, is it accurate? I think that's a really good question. That's maybe going to come under the cons, but it is definitely tracking. It is definitely keeping track. And what was fascinating to me is it even has a breakdown of not only calories, but carbohydrate, protein, and fat. Now, they do say there are some things that the tracker cannot accurately keep track of, especially like protein powders, some of those artificial foods. It can't keep track of that. It does also talk about if you're doing keto or an extremely low carbohydrate diet, that's going to throw things off, because again, it can't actually measure calories. It's measuring how your body releases water from glucose. So that's how they're measuring it. So the way it keeps track of your expenditure, how many calories you're burning, is they go with some basics. So they figure out your age, your sex, your size, your weight, and then they're gonna give you a number of what they think you're gonna burn, and then the device actually becomes more accurate as you wear it because you're putting in your weight. So if it's saying that you burn 2,000 calories, but yet you continue to gain weight, then it's like, okay, wait a minute, it needs to readjust. And I have definitely seen that. As someone who's lost 100 pounds, I do know that my metabolism is a little bit lower than would be typical, like if I just had started as an adult at this weight. And the Healbe is showing me that each week, actually, what it's saying I burn has continued to go down, which is a bummer for me. But I guess as far as reviewing the device, I think it is continuing to get more accurate because it's seeing that I'm not losing weight, even though it was showing that I was at a deficit. So I do think it does accurately readjust itself as you continue to use it. So it's a pro. To me, it's interesting. I'm kind of a geek about this stuff. My brother was the one who told me about this device. We've been kind of exploring it together. So thank you, Daniel, if you're watching. But it's definitely interesting, and it's definitely tracking what you are eating. Whether it's accurate, I don't know, but it's definitely tracking. The hydration was super interesting to me. It will show you if you're under or over, or as in normal, for how much fluid you're taking in. And when you're not drinking enough, it will vibrate on your arm. So there were definitely days where I was under that I was like vibrating at me all day long. But it's a great reminder to drink more water. So that actually was one of the bigger plus things for me, was the reminder to stay hydrated. It also tracks your sleep. Now, I know there are other devices that can do this. You have to wear it at night, which is kind of the disadvantage. And at least for the first few weeks, you really do have to wear it for 24 hours in order to get an accurate assessment, because your body is continuing to use those calories that you ate the day before while you're sleeping. So if you take it off, it's not going to be able to track that. So you do have to wear it all the time for the first few weeks at least, and really probably most of the time that you want to use the tracker. But then it's also tracking your sleep, the quality of your sleep, the REM sleep, and it will give you recommendations for how much sleep you need to get the next day. And they base that on how much sleep you got the night before, the quality of that sleep, and then also things like your stress level during the day and your fitness, how much you were moving. And I think that's really cool. I thought that was kind of interesting. Again, I'm not sure how scientific their answers, but I thought it was kind of interesting to see. Stress, it measures your stress level. So it will give you no stress, low stress, moderate stress, high stress. And they're looking at different things of how your body is working, like your heart rate, your sweat, all that type of stuff. So again, I found this interesting. There were times that I felt like I was kind of stressed and it didn't pick it up, and other times that I didn't necessarily really feel stressed, but it was saying that my body was reacting as if I did have stress. And also it will vibrate on your hand, and so that's your chance to, it's trying to remind you to do something to calm yourself down a little bit. And we do know that stress is a huge factor for health. If you're continually under a lot of stress, that is, that can be very detrimental to your health. So again, I don't know about the accuracy, but I definitely thought it was interesting. And then finally, with the app, you're tracking your weight, so that you're weighing yourself on a scale and putting that in. They recommend at least every 3 days, I think even every day, because it will continue to recalibrate based on your weight. So the fact that it adapts itself, I do think, is a pro. Now let's talk about the cons. So by far, to me, the biggest challenge with this device is that it takes so much time for it to figure out what your calories are, that it makes it hard for you to make good decisions in the moment. So I do Weight Watchers. That's typically what I do to maintain my weight loss. I've also used my Fitness Pal at different times. So basically you're tracking as you're eating and then making decisions based on, the structure of the program. Well, with this, let's say at 6 o'clock at night, it's telling you you have a 600 calorie deficit. So you're like, okay, great, I'm gonna go eat a bunch of bedtime snacks. Well, the problem with that is it could be just you ate plenty of dinner, you don't need any more food, but it's going to take the next 12 to 24 hours for your body to metabolize that. So what might happen is you eat your dinner and you're like, whoa, I got all these extra calories. You eat a bunch of nighttime snacks. Well, that's going to continue to get digested through the night. So you might wake up in the morning and the GoBe is telling you you're 800 calories over where you should be. You're thinking 800 calories, I didn't eat 800 calories, I've just been laying here in bed, but it's calculating all of that. So that's really the disadvantage, is you're going to have to look at all of your calories that you're eating over a great period of time. I've had it continue to change my calories from the day before, usually by breakfast. It's pretty much done, but well into the next morning. So you're going to have to look at it more as a bigger picture if you want to use this to see how much you should be eating. But as far as like this meal, this day, like can I eat another bedtime snack? You're just not going to get that from this device because it's taking more time to, go through your body and figure all of that out. So like I said, there were definitely some days where I would wake up in the morning. Usually it tells me I've already eaten like 300 to 400 calories when I wake up in the morning. So I kind of come into the morning sort of in the red, so to speak, until I get up and start moving and start burning some calories. So for me, that was a little disconcerting, just to feel like I haven't even eaten anything yet and already I'm in the hole, but it's just continuing to monitor from the night before. Another con for me, the watch is kind of big, just especially as a female. I think for a guy, it might not be quite so bad. I definitely have gotten used to it. I type all day. I even did a few of my Taekwondo classes with it. We're not really supposed to wear a watch, but just so I could kind of get an idea of the calorie burn with that. So it's just a little on the big side. I wish it was smaller. And it doesn't really tell you a ton. In the watch, it tells you a little bit, but not a lot. The charge is pretty short, so I think I brought I didn't bring my charger down, but you get a little charger that you can plug it into like your phone or a phone type charger, or you could do it even on your computer. 24 hours. It's really a pretty short charge. Maybe you could go past that a little bit, but only by a couple hours, and then it's going to die. And if during that time that it dies, it can't obviously be tracking any food that you've eaten. So again, that's just not going to be an accurate indication. It doesn't take very long charge though, only like 30 to 40 minutes. So that's kind of nice. So I think at the end of the day, the cons is it really accurate? Well, I've been wearing mine for about a month, which is what they recommend. And I'd say it's still continuing to adjust to my metabolism, even though I am telling it that I haven't lost any weight. It's showing me that I have a deficit. So that makes me think that overall it's not totally accurate, and I don't know if that would continue to adjust as I go on and I tell it I'm not losing weight even though I have a deficit. I guess it'll just continue to drop my calories that I'm supposed to be eating even more. But I guess the jury's still out for me on that, but as far as the actual accuracy. So overall, that is what it tracks. It tracks calories, hydration, heart rate, sleep, stress, and weight. There are definitely some nice pros to it. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was kind of fun. I really liked that it tracks your hydration and reminds you to drink. I thought the sleep was interesting, and I thought the stress was interesting. But some of those things you can get from other trackers that might be a little bit more accurate. Oh, and the heart rate. It does. I didn't talk about heart rate. I don't think the heart rate is accurate at all. My heart rate does tend to run on the low side. So when I'm at rest, it would say like 50 to 60 beats per minute. That's fine. But then when I would do exercise, I don't think it ever tracked my heart rate as getting over like 80 to 90, which sometimes I'm like, I'm running. When I'm running, surely my heart rate is higher than that. And then they do have even a blood pressure that is in beta mode. And I don't think that's accurate at all either, because it was showing my blood pressure is high, which I typically tend to have low or just a very healthy blood pressure. So I'm not going to fault them for that, since they say it's in beta mode. Might not be totally accurate, but I can tell you right now I don't think it's accurate. So some of the cons being that it takes up to 24 hours. It really makes it tough when you're someone who is trying to lose weight or maintain your weight and you want to be accurate. It's just not going to be that accurate. Another con with the watch being big and then the charge being short. So overall, what's my recommendation with this device? Well, I would say if you want to try it, it's not super expensive. It's like I don't want to say in case prices change, but $150 to $70 as of the time of recording this video. So, I mean, that's definitely an investment, but not a huge one. If you want to try it, it's interesting. I think it's interesting to have something that's tracking what you're eating, what you're absorbing as far as your nutrition, because that is unique to each person. And as far as I know, there's not anything else out there that measures in this way. And if it is accurate for you, you won't have to keep track like on MyFitnessPal or Weight Watchers or whatever. You're going to get that information from the device. But the biggest con being that it takes so long to figure out. You really have to be looking big picture. And I know that for me, that's just not how my mind operates. I need to know in the moment, can I eat this or not? And you're just simply not going to get that information from this device. So overall, my recommendation is if you want to try it, just for something kind of fun and interesting, go for it. But generally, I'd say I think we need to wait out this technology a little bit. I think it's interesting, but I don't think it's really there yet. And because you have to wait so long and it might not be that accurate, if you're really wanting to get going on a weight loss journey, I just don't think that this device will get you there. So if you want to try it out, I'll put a link to it below the video so you can see what it's all about. It's available on Amazon. It's not that expensive and it's kind of interesting. But as far as actually using it to rely on for your weight loss journey, that would not be my recommendation at this point. So I'm Sarah with The Holy Mess. If you have one of these, I'd love for you to comment and tell me what you think of it. If you're thinking about getting it and you have some questions, you're welcome to leave me a comment. I've been using it for the last month and I plan to continue to use it for a little while longer. So I can definitely answer any questions that you have. I'm Sarah with The Holy Mess. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.